Rob in the chat. I'm with you. Joining us right now. He's not immune to a good snack every once in a while. Thank you. We appreciate him rescheduling from yesterday to today. Joining us right now as he does each and every week, Sean Salisbury. Good morning, Sean.
Hey, how you doing, Dave?
I was just reading how the owner of the Phoenix Suns is now offering, you just announced, $2 hot dog, $2 water, $2 fountain soda, $2 bag of chips, and $2 bag of popcorn for affordable prices. And, with the money these franchises are making, Sean, are we on the same page that there should be at least a section for the fat slobs like me that just want cheap food?
Yeah. But I also, you know what? I don't know why we don't do more of this. It seems logical to me. At times when you're struggling or things aren't going the way you want them, and the fan never gets a seat at the table. Well, you got to go sign guys in free agency. We make trades. We, change the jerseys and do all those things, upgrade the facilities. And the one thing we never do is give, and I know there's dollar dog night like in Houston and that, but we never really go into, it's few and far between where we say, you know what, all the money they spend, whether it's football, basketball, or baseball, all the stuff that fans do, all the stuff they got to put up with at times when you get rid of good players or don't sign free agents. Why wouldn't we do more of this? I know like in a college town when kids can't afford it, the 2-for-1 nights are sold out. You got a 2-for-1 night on a Tuesday that's not Monday Night Football. It's like, man, what are these kids doing in a bar or a restaurant? Well, because it's good food and it's cheap and they want to eat for free or they want to eat cheap. I don't understand why owners, even if it's just a feel-good thing, why we're not doing more of this, especially when you know just how much money. I know everybody's got a bottom line, but a little bit goes a long way.
Yep.
Everybody, the NFL, NBA, they all get a seat at the table with lawyers and sponsors and advertisers. But what we never do is give them a seat at the table to say, well, what would make you go more often? Well, the fact that I'd spend $18 for a beer would be nice. And some of these folks work their ass off and still support and buy jerseys. And guess what? And I heard you say, the throwback jersey night at throwback prices. What a brilliant idea. So I'll always stand by the fan in this because with all the money and all the things that go on, it would be nice if it would do more than just once a year or special. And a bobblehead night's a blast. Everybody loves a bobblehead night. But you know what? How about a third of the price food night or one of those where that's the way you do it, or a third of the price food season? And, it costs the owner a little bit more money, but you know what? It goes a long way to your future. Sometimes you got to rob Peter and pay Paul, and sometimes you got to take a step back to move 15 steps forward. We all have done that in our life, and I see no better way than in pro sports facilities and with the money that these fans have to pay. Most can't afford it. That's another reason why it's a big corporate thing in sports now. Super Bowl will be 85% corporate. Normal fans don't get in there unless you want to go to the A&M game, right? When A&M plays Texas and spend average ticket price of what? $900 or $1,100 or $1,600. The prices go up, but every now and then the fans deserve a little bit more than just a once a year type of thing when it goes down.
Sean, my listeners will know I've been yelling about this for years, and I hope it happens in my lifetime. I hope it happens in your lifetime, but I'm not confident. It's interesting when you go down the road of applying the concepts of a union to fans, and it absolutely floors me. And it's going to take the right people. It's going to take the right organizing. But how we don't have every single professional team in American sports has a literal fan union that is chaired by fans on a rotational basis that basically can say, they can come to the table, as you said, and say, hey, guys, look, ticket prices are too high. I'm looking right now. Sportico just put out their valuations. We were talking about this in the last segment for teams. And I'm looking at basketball. The Golden State Warriors are now worth $9.14 billion. That's an almost $1 billion increase from last year. Chris Cohan sold the team to Joe Lacob in 2010 for $450 million. And I say, go for it. Make your money. You put the money up. God bless you. That's awesome. But why
nice ROI, huh? Nice ROI.
Right. So how in the hell do we not have fans that are capable of doing a mass boycott of the games, of advertisers, of whatever they want? Ultimately, Sean, you know this. If they were organized, they're more powerful than the players. They're more powerful than the league. Nothing runs without the fans. it's the one thing we don't have a union for.
And it's stupid. You are spot on. Just like, with this college players, we're going to get a union rep with NIL and collective. A union's coming down the pike. We know that.
Yep.
And they're going to have to. They are going to have to. And you hit it. The organization and do it. And while I know that 90% of the money is owned by 10% of the people in this big rich world, but the truth is, there's plenty of smart people that aren't politicians. There's plenty of smart people that aren't front office people, or that aren't owners, or that aren't that aren't TV executives. Matter of fact, there's probably more of them because there's more numbers. And there is strength, especially when it comes to union, strength in numbers. And you are 100% correct. You elect union like you would on a team. All teams have a union rep, and then you have your overall union rep. Get every state, or there's a sports franchise in, find your union rep, vote on them like you would your politics or your homeowners association, and give them a seat at the table. Because if you tell us you want to make it, you want us to, we want the fans' voices, then why don't you save them a seat at the table? Let us put them a union together and let them sit there and let them tell you what fans that they're sitting next to that don't have a coat and tie on and make $1 billion a year. Not that that's a bad thing, but that we need them too, but also to sit there and say, here's why I'm not coming. And then maybe you should address the here's why I'm not coming in baseball or basketball or football, especially in basketball struggling, baseball at times if your team's out of it. Because you know what? Adding bigger bases or adding a golden rule at bat ain't it, okay? You ain't keeping a 25. Oh, it's the golden rule. I think that I'll just watch the game for 3 more hours because Ohtani's going to bat against the pitcher a second time after he struck out on the first out. No. That's fine. What they will do is they'll show up when you say, hey, we're having 3-for-1 beer night. 3 for tray. Okay, or whatever. We need a union for fans too. I know it sounds crazy, but if they want change, that's how you change. And a boycott will change things in a hurry. Always does.
Michael Penix Jr. in, Kirk Cousins out. The one that really caught my eye, though, Sean, and we could talk about that too, but is Will Levis out, and it sounds like Mason Rudolph in for a Titans team that is only gunning for draft picks at this point. This is part of a broader question I want to ask you. I'll call it the Sam Darnold corollary, and I know the Darnolds of the world are few and far between, but nobody knows more about quarterbacks and quarterback development than the guy who's on the phone with me right now. Are NFL teams getting it wrong when it comes to these young guys and how they're developing them?
Well, yeah, the most undercoached position, mechanics-wise and all that, in pro sports is an NFL quarterback. I'm telling Jaws and I used to talk about this. It's a fact. When you get there, they expect you to know it. And then when you're not playing well, they wonder why your mechanics suck because they haven't worked on it. They expect all that to be done in the offseason. When I say undercoached, doesn't mean they're not in the meeting room putting up film, but they're game plan oriented, right? It's game plan oriented. It's not individual oriented. It's game plan. Okay, how are we going to attack this? We're not working on mechanics in the fall. We're not working on Caleb Williams going down low. How are you going to get the ball there so we can win? And then the offseason, they have their personal coaches. You're absolutely right. Now, some get it right. Not everybody's Jaden Daniels or C.J. Stroud as a rookie. Most play like rookies. And so, and I don't have a problem with playing them early at all. I don't have a problem because if the rookie is playing as good as the veteran or the veteran's making rookie mistakes, the same one every week, play the rookie. We'll test how mentally tough he is because I got to find out soon. I can't find out 4 years into his career that the guy can't handle pressure or can't. I don't mind finding out soon because then I'll know, I got something here. He may not be making all the plays, but I got myself a mentally tough. Look at all the crap Baker Mayfield's been through. Some of it self-inflicted. Look how he's playing now. Been kicked around, became a journeyman. Now he's going to throw for 4,000 yards and 30-plus touchdowns. The guy's playing out of his mind. So there are guys like that. And the Darnold, Geno Smith. Yes, it'd be great if you could do the Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre thing. Have a guy in front of you that you could sit and watch, and hopefully that guy's learning while he's watching. But it's the most undercoached mechanics position in any sport is the NFL quarterback position. We just assume you're a star when you get there. And then we wonder why when you're struggling that you're not. So the Levis thing doesn't surprise me. Coach is a new coach there this year, trying to get some wins on the board. And quite frankly, Will Levis is careless with the ball, although gifted, careless with the football, like Jameis Winston, who's been there.
Yep.
He's a great thrower, but careless with it. And you put teams in a bind, and you're doing a disservice to the other guys. Played him. I don't have a problem with that. And quite frankly, as much as I like Kirk Cousins the last 6 weeks, he has been putrid, unwatchable as a player, and he's a good player. It's just not working in Atlanta, and they drafted Penix for this very reason. Cousins, if Penix plays average, Cousins will not see the field again this year. And once you give a first-round guy the job, it's rare that you give it back. But look at Bryce Young. You benched him. He came back. He's playing better. So every guy's not the same. It ain't like you're manufacturing. This isn't an assembly line for quarterbacks. They're different. And the mental and emotional part separates when everybody can throw it. The problem is he's throwing it to the wrong guy. So, yes, a disservice. We don't have the luxury of sitting a first-rounder long usually because that team usually sucked the year before. But it is important, the development process. But it's also incumbent upon the player to push that envelope. But we don't coach NFL quarterbacks on mechanics or that stuff. We coach them on game plan, and that's why you start to see things suffer. And while the quarterback play in the middle and at the bottom isn't very good, our top 7 or 8 of them are damn good, though.
Last thing for you, brother. Brock Purdy. This is going to be a story in the offseason. He's making like $900,000. He's obviously due a huge raise. The Niners could franchise him. He's still got another year on the contract, but reports, and I underline reports, say he's looking for, the big quarterback payday, 40, 50, $60 million. If you're John Lynch, what are you doing with Brock Purdy and his contract?
Now, some people are in the feel-good business. I want my players happy and respected and feel like they're wanted. You're a starting quarterback, you're playing, you're wanted. But I'm also a businessman. I'll tell you, I would franchise Darnold if I was Minnesota. You can't let him walk because J.J. McCarthy could be a good player. He's having too good a season. And I'm not willing to say, okay, as much as I love Sam, it's like, well, did Sam Darnold, let's see, if he makes 45 or 50, he's had one great season. I'd like to see him do it again. Then I'll gladly give him 55. Franchise him. He's going to make like 39 to 40, whatever it is. I know they want the guaranteed money, but you know what? It's a business. Well, I love you. You're still my starting quarterback, or I would have let you walk. I just can't do it yet. Show me one more time. Now, Purdy's been shown it a couple more years in the same place, and you know I'm a Brock Purdy fan. But it's the rule. It's set up for me to say I can use the franchise tag. So why wouldn't I use it? The guy was the last pick of the draft. I think he's a hell of a player, and I think he's even going to be a better player, and I do. I'm a big fan. But why do I don't have to appease him right now. What's he going to do? Hold out? Maybe. But he'll eventually be in camp. Go show me one more year, and then in the middle of next year or a training camp or whatever you feel it, you can say, you know what, you've earned the $50 million a year for 5 years or whatever it is. Now, if Lynch thinks that he is guaranteed top 10 quarterback, sign him and get it over with and work the cap. But to me, if you're still wondering a little bit with Darnold or with Brock Purdy because he was the last pick of the draft, franchise him. It saves you. You got movement. You can ask. The rule is set up for you to do that. Just like the transfer rule and the NIL rule in college, they have taken advantage of it to the point of ad nauseum. Why the hell wouldn't I, as an NFL GM, say, you're gonna have to show me a little more. 1 year as a franchise for $42 million ain't bad for the last pick of the draft. You probably had a $50,000 signing bonus. I don't even know what it was. Yeah. So you know what? That's just part and parcel to the position, and that's the way things work. Deal with it.
Sean Salisbury joins us each and every week right after his show wraps up in Houston. Sean, we always appreciate it, brother. Playoffs coming up. It's going to be a crazy college football playoff followed by NFL playoffs. I'm super excited to talk to you, my man.
I love it, man. Love you, and happy Merry Christmas, brother, and we'll talk to you.
You too, brother. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Say hello to the kids. Love you too. Talk to you soon, bro. That is Sean Salisbury. We are late for a break, but always a good thing to be late when you're talking to Sean. 4 down.